Hi, welcome to my house and thank you for showing an interest in the Open Studios. My name is Richard Gray. I'm an artist who lives in Easingwold. I'm also a teacher in York, teach art to 11 to 18 year olds. I was trained at St John's and at Goldsmiths, and I'm a painter.
This is Burnside, this is where I live, and this is my studio. This is where most of the painting happens, obviously. Let's go inside. Okay, at the moment I've got a lot of work laid out, as you can see, and in the Open Studios this would be a lot tidier. But you can see, I think, looking around you, what the work is about. It's about landscape, really. It's about my place in the landscape and about the effect of light playing across the landscape. Some of it's quite figurative and representational, but always has a foot in a very painterly and semi-abstract feel. Pinboard here with some experimental watercolours on. The subject again is landscape, but the media is different. It's watercolour with some pastel. And this is where I often work out ideas for larger oil paintings. Watercolour is something that I've come to fairly recently, and it's something that I've been experimenting with because it's a very unforgiving medium. But I think looking around you get a sense of what my painting is about. And hopefully, looking at the watercolours, you get a sense of how they might feed the work that then happens on canvas. Some of these are the more recent paintings. And there are always sketchbooks in here. Now, sketchbook work is something that I tend to do outside the studio. That's where I play around with ideas and often just draw for pleasure. And these would be available in the Open Studios for people to flick through, and actually they've proved quite popular in the past.
Paintings that I make are landscapes predominantly, and they're a response to being outside, which is where I would prefer to be. They're about various things. They're about the lie of the land, they're about the changes in the light, they're about the changes in the weather, changes in the day, changes in the season. And they're about the physical quality of the paint as well, about pushing and scratching the paint around on the picture surface. I don't work from source photographs, I work from sketches and I work from memory or imagined landscapes, and they often take on the meaning of a place as I get towards the end of a painting.
If and when you come to visit the house, you'll see a range of work that at the moment is some old and some fairly recent work. Most of it, as you can tell, is a landscape, which is where my main influence lies, including some of this more recent stuff. It was inspired by a holiday in Wales last year. That's Cadir Idris from Snowdonia.
I paint as a way of expressing myself, as a way of communicating. And all art needs an audience, We are social animals. So I would love it if you were to visit me here at the Burnside. Come see the studio, come see the house and the paintings.
So this is one of my most recent paintings, and it's based on a path over the moors. And I think the overall effect of this is that kind of light and breezy spring day where the clouds are rolling about and the light constantly changes. If I zoom in here, you get a sense of the kind of impasto pushing, pulling, scraping and scratching that often appears in my work. I like the physical quality of paint. I like the paintwork to almost be a symphony of marks. It's interesting because sometimes it's difficult to know when a painting's finished, and sometimes you'll be pleased with what you've done. You'll come back the next day and you're looking at it and just think, oh, what were you thinking? I haven't had that thought yet with this one, but this has undergone several incarnations. Another fairly recent painting, and as you stand back from it, clearly it's representational. You've got a lone tree and a setting or a rising sun behind it. But as I move in again, you can see it's about impasto paint, it's about colour and mark making. This piece is about the heavy rains we had before the lockdown started, and that seems like a lifetime away. It's based on the River Ure, or the Ings around the River Ure. Again, is that if I zoom in there, you can see it's a lot about suggestion. I think a lot of painting is about suggestion. It's about illusion, but about suggestion. Another fairly impasto landscape painting, more about suggestion, more about what the paint will actually do, but also about light. So thanks again for showing an interest in the Open Studios. I'd love to see you here. We are available for visits via appointment, and I'm contactable by the details that will appear at the end of this video. But we've had a sense of what you might see here, and we'd love to see you.